how to gamify chores in order to be more productive throughout the day. So I have this weird game that I play, and it's kind of like when I get out of the bed in the morning, I try to build up as many points as I can, because Andrew Huberman has this point of a task will require a certain amount of dopamine to even start, and then once you finish it and you close that task, you're closing what he would call a dopamine cycle, and that gives you out a certain amount more of dopamine. So say putting away your socks in the morning and cleaning your room takes 10 dopamine points to even start. Once you finish that task, you would then get 15 dopamine points, which you could then use to try to take on bigger tasks, which would give you even more points, and so on and so on. And when I was really stressed, when I was having trouble self-motivating and tackling larger projects, this is something I found very useful to do. So I would leave chores for myself that are purposely easy to do in the morning. I wouldn't put away the dishes the night before. I'd make sure I washed them all, but that morning I put them all away, and I think in my head, building up the dopamine, I would put away all my clothes. So I would just leave them out. Building up the dopamine, I would do the litter box, take out the trash, do whatever else I need to do. And I'm not sure if it's the actual physical process of building up the dopamine, but in my mind, I kind of had like numbers associated with everything. So I thought, well, this project takes this much dopamine to do, and it's gonna give me this much dopamine. And I had like these arbitrary points, but it was really helpful, and it kind of made me enjoy doing my chores, because I'm like, I'm gonna build up so much momentum that I'm gonna be able to tackle whatever I have to do super easy. And then I would do chores for the first 45 minutes. I would wait for my caffeine, my tea to kick in and stuff. And then I would sit down and I'd go to work, and I'd direct all that momentum that I built up onto the hardest task that I had to do for the day. Something with school, but I just direct all my focus on that. And once I got that done, which would usually take a couple hours, I would then work on the next task I wanted to do, which is slightly easier. Because my whole idea was, and if I have it, I'll put up a picture right here showing how I planned out my day. But the whole idea was to build up as much dopamine and momentum as I could, focus it all on the most challenging thing I had to do. And then once that thing was done, the chores would kind of get easier as I became more mentally tired, and eventually sloped down to just like going through my email or things that I had to do that I didn't really think were going to give me much dopamine. But a good example, I spent a couple hours yesterday building a net and a framework for it for my chickens. It's like, that's something that's slightly on the longer side. It's going to take me more than an hour to do. Therefore, I don't want to do it in the morning. In the morning, I'm more looking for like 5 to 10 minute quick chores that you can finish out. Later in the day, you can do the longer ones, but what you want to avoid is starting a task like putting up the net on the chicken coop, which is going to take multiple hours, because it's going to require a certain amount of dopamine to even start that task. So say you put up 25 points, you're not going to get back like 40 points of dopamine until that task is completed. So you could just tie up a large amount of your momentum in an unfinished task that you have to leave. And doing that and thinking of it this way is just a very easy, fun thing. So yeah, comment down below if you want to hear more about this. Let me know if you think this is all just one of those situations where you believe that something makes a task easier to do, therefore it's kind of self-fulfilling and placebo effect.